Content Marketing World is the can't miss marketing event of the year.
This is inspirational as well as very tactical.
There's so many speakers and so many sessions.
When you come here, you get to learn from day-to-day practitioners. It's a really vibrant community of people that take what they do very seriously but have a lot of fun doing it.
It is an insane group of people. You need to get here.
Join us for Content Marketing World 2024 in San Diego.
Everybody, thanks so much for joining us today. It's Amanda with the Content Marketing Institute. I am so excited to be joined by my colleague, Joseph J.K. Kalinowski, as we call him, as we start this brand new live stream we're calling Live with CMI, where each month we'll be tackling a new topic right here on the show. J.K., so great to see you. How excited are you?
I am over the moon excited. I am so excited to be back online with you and to kick off this new little adventure that we have going on. And I don't think we could start with a better topic, right?
Yeah, exactly. And this month specifically AI, but AI, we're going to offer help for the AI challenge. Of course, it's top of mind for content marketers as we head into 2024. But are marketers really ready for it? Are they really actually using it? And are they using it effectively? I don't know about you, but when I'm going through my LinkedIn feed, I feel like I'm already like, that's it. I'm behind, but I don't even know where to start. What about you, JK?
Same way. I mean, I'm only using what some of the programs that I'm already actively involved in using, like Adobe products. Whatever they add on as a little AI, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll mess with this, and then I'm completely confused and feel completely flustered. So today's topic is perfect for me and I'm sure a lot of us out there, where we're just starting to scratch the surface, or we're starting to feel like, oh my God, there's like hundreds of thousands of people ahead of us and we don't know where we're going. I think today is really going to level the playing field for a lot of us.
Absolutely. So like we said, you might be surprised that if you feel like you're behind, you're not alone. And our guest today has some really great advice for all of those non-techies like myself who need some help. Plus, we're chatting about some bad use cases of AI, and we've got a real doozy to talk about today. And we also have a bonus interview that I know JK is as excited as I am about it. So we can have some help from marketers who want to get started using some creative AI tools. So we have all of that coming up on the show today. But before all that, I want you to know that this live stream is brought to you by the Content Marketing Institute. If you don't know who we are the leading training and education organization for, you guessed it, all things content marketing. So you can head on over to contentmarketinginstitute.com for all kinds of great resources. And so if you've joined me for a live stream before, I always say this. As you join us today, say hello, give us a virtual wave, let us know where you're joining us from. I already see a few people tuning in from California, Cleveland, Dubai. So let us know, drop it in the comments. We'd love to see where you are from. As always, it makes for a more engaging live stream when we hear from all of you. So as we go along, if you have a question or a comment, please be for sure to drop it down below. JK, let's get the ball rolling here with the question of the day.
Okay. Well, we see so many great uses or so many people using AI. So the question of the day is, if you could let us know some of the best use case scenarios that you've seen of companies or brands using AI. Conversely, how about you share some really bad instances as well? We will talk about this a little bit later on in the show, but we're really interested to see what you have seen out there and just kind of get the ball rolling of like, hey, let's share some really cool ideas with each other and see what other brands are doing.
All right. And we see, yes, drop that in the comments. We'd love to see it. We love to share it so everyone else can see it as well. We have more people checking in here from Ohio, France. Michael Wise is on. He's high from Amtrak 770.
Like,
So we have a user from Boston, someone, Casey from Wales, Eric from New York City, Tanja from Switzerland. So hello, thank you all for joining us today. So let's get started here. Let's introduce the guest with this. We have a new annual research coming out. It's actually going to be coming out tomorrow. It's Technology Content Marketing Benchmarks, Budgets, and Trends report we do every year, and you'll be able to find it tomorrow over at contentmarketinginstitute.com. But what we found was 79% of technology marketers report that they currently use AI for various content-related tasks. And this is pretty much in line with our annual B2B research, which came out in the fall, which was 72% of B2B content marketers are using AI, and they are using it for many tasks, but the top 3 include brainstorming new topic ideas, writing drafts, researching headlines, etc. As you can see that here. So I hear that stat, right? And I'm like, oh boy, feels like everybody's using AI. I'm already behind. But if you feel the same, let me bring in our guest today. Heather Murray is joining us, and she spent the last year immersing herself in AI. She spent like 2,000 plus hours learning AI and then teaching it around the world. She's a top 20 MarTech influencer and founder of AI for Non-Techies. So Heather, thank you so much for joining us today.
I'm delighted to be here. I'm really excited. Content Marketing Institute, incredible.
Awesome. And so you say there's one thing that everyone is getting wrong about AI. You say everybody thinks they're behind and everybody thinks that everyone else is all over AI. But in your work, can you tell us like what is actually going on? Like what have you found to be true in your work with marketers? What's really happening?
I think it's that same. So every call I have starts with, I'm really behind. You know, I'm only just getting round to it. My company's only just starting this, so you'll have to bear with me. And everybody's saying that same thing. So I've spoken to really large groups of people. I've been training groups of people, very senior, all the way through to very junior, in massive enterprise companies, global enterprises, and also in small businesses as well. And so there's really across the board, and every single person thinks they're behind and they're not, because we're all in the same circumstance. So it's the biggest myth of all is that we're behind. I think if you're on LinkedIn quite a lot, you'll think you're in a little bit of a bubble, and you are in a little bit of a bubble, more like, and yeah, the world is really not like that at all at the moment.
Everyone's just sort of dabbling and like learning. Like nobody's like, oh, we got this AI, we're using it, we're getting all these insights and doing all this great stuff.
Well, very few. Even companies like AI companies themselves are coming to me saying, "Oh, how do we write this prompt?" It's this ability. So AI itself has been around since the 50s, but our access to it has completely changed since November sort of 2022. So up until then, it was you had to be kind of technical to understand it and to kind of access it and use it. And now you don't. You can just go straight in with a conversation, which I think everybody's in that dabbling phase. I think a lot of people are dabbling or beginning to integrate, but they're just not sure what is going to get me some ROI from this. How will this genuinely make my life easier? Because when you start to play with tools, you just think, well, that was all right, but might have been a bit of a waste of time. I'm not seeing any return from that whatsoever.
So speaking of that, like everyone's jumping in, they're trying these tools. I've tried a few myself, but then I'm kind of like, should I be using them? Do they work in my workflow? But you've sort of created like a framework to help, integrate AI into organizations. Can you kind of talk about that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I've got it up somewhere. I'll have a close it. Give me 1 second. I'll just get it back because I posted about it today. Just 1 second. It's always like this on live, isn't it?
I have a graphic of it too. Let me pop it up for you here too.
Wonderful. Oh, there we go. I've got it up here as well. Yeah, so I called it the optimization mindset. I've recently updated that to just be the AI integration framework. So I think it just makes more sense. I was going a bit creative with the title, but it's all about, I think a lot of people tell me, or ask me, where do I start? I can see that this is an exciting thing, and people are telling me it has this tremendous value, and it's going to change everything about my job. But where do I actually start? So I mean, usually it's sort of smaller business owners are kind of thinking, right, this is a playing field level, or this is a really exciting thing. Like, I want to get stuck in. So where do I go? So I built this framework. So just to talk you through it, just fairly briefly, it begins with AI readiness. So assessing your own readiness. How ready is your company or your department to start using AI? So it's not a case of just suddenly, oh, there's a tool, I'm going to try and play with that and try and fit it into what we do. It's about how ready, how clean is our data, because AI amplifies data. So, you need to feed it the good stuff in order for it to develop insights and create good stuff back. If you don't have good enough data, it can't really perform that well. You'll find you start to hit limits. So starting with data is incredibly important. So the amount of data that you've got, the different types that you've got, and the quality. And when I speak to smaller businesses, they tend to go, oh, I haven't got any data. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. But then I say, oh, look at your LinkedIn, start, recording your client calls. Every interview you've ever done, you've got piles and piles and piles of data. Your entire CRM, that's data. You need to start pulling this all together and cleaning it up and making it something that's usable. So starting with that, and how ready are you? In that, there's also AI vision. So it's kind of the next step. So what are your goals? So everything you do, when you create a sort of marketing plan, you link it to your business goals. There's no point in doing any marketing activity if it's not going to in some way contribute to your goals. So I think some people are seeing AI as this separate thing, and then they're not thinking, I want to try that tool. And when you press and say, why, how's that going to help you achieve any of your business goals? They're kind of like, oh, I haven't really put those two things together. So it sounds kind of obvious, but it's really good to kind of put that into the framework. So, whether it's increased website traffic, landing pages, better quality traffic on your landing page, more clicks, whatever you're looking for, try and link the AI tools that you're planning to use to some form of pain or problem related to a business goal. The next thing is market scan. So this is when you start to research the AI tools that are available. And there are hundreds of thousands of them available at the moment. And it's completely overwhelming. I think we've all gone there and go, oh, that's exciting. Oh my God, there's 20 more. Now there's 50 more. Now there's 100 more. And it's even for me, who absolutely loves it, it's completely overwhelming. So I think picking in your group, in your department, in your business, natural innovators, so people who really enjoy the tech side of things, they're always the first to get the new phone, or, people who really thrive off that sort of thing, to, really keep their ears to the ground in the right places. So there's, I wrote back today on my LinkedIn, actually, there's a couple of people like Matt Wolf on YouTube, Max Rasher on LinkedIn, Rowan Chung on Twitter. They're all people that are at the top of their game when it comes to when new quality AI tools are released. So you'll get this steady feed, some really good newsletters, Ben's Bites, the AI Tool Report, Mindstream. There's lots of ways to get that information from you, which is quite exciting. So yeah, doing that market scan and seeing what's out there. Next thing is testing. So rigorously testing those tools. We have a kind of a 3-stage plan that we do. You test it properly and you ditch it if it's not very good. Move on, because these tools are coming thick and fast. Or if it's good, you give it a proper trial. Or you just think about looking at it later if it has promise. So kind of delegate it to a little bit later. So that's what we do. If something seems a little bit interesting, AI is moving so quickly that if there's a glitch and if there's a problem, but it does have potential, wait a couple of months, because they'll have fixed it, I guarantee it. And then you've got something usable. So it's so exciting. I realise I'm talking a lot. I'll skip through the rest. And then, stakeholders, change management's really important. People are terrified of AI, absolutely terrified of it. They're really reluctant. Some people are very angry. So you have to really do that sort of change management piece. Training, of course, expert training, get people really involved. Deployment, gradually introduce it into the business, one tool at a time. That's how we started, just one tool. Then we started to see how that worked for us, then add another. And then finally review, like with anything else, monitor the impact, monitor for bias as well. So that's a really key point. So AI has been trained on human data, therefore it's been trained on human bias. So you need to look out for biases that are emerging in with tools that you use. And that was an awful lot. I've got
We will link to that. Yeah, we will link to your, that was a great framework. And I love the point about the people. Like, if there are people in your organization that are excited and like want to get into it, like tap into them, which would also help with the change management. piece of that too. JK?
Yeah, Heather, you spoke of readiness and like especially like one tool at a time. So for organizations or even individuals that are thinking about, you know, dipping their toe in the water of AI, but they're afraid, do you have any like maybe base level or any, I know like needs can be specific to certain people, but is there maybe like an encompassing one that you would suggest that, you know, people just to get acclimated to using AI and then they can kind of expand off of that?
Yeah, it's got to be ChatGPT. I think there's a reason people have heard about that the most. It is always one step ahead, and there are other LLMs that create better sounding content. So Claude creates more human sounding content. Gemini Advanced, the latest from Google, outstanding when it comes to content creation. I've been doing some tests, but it has other limitations. Whereas ChatGPT is a really good all-rounder, and I would strongly recommend the ChatGPT Plus, which has all the different features. So it has not just the text feature, it can generate images, it can analyze data for you, it can read images. There are just so many things. You can talk to it. It's just an incredible thing. You can also create your own custom GPTs, and that's all for that $20 a month. I think it's such a good all-rounder. It's not the very best at everything, but it's got the very best range of features. I think if you really want to get to know how AI works and how different tools might work, ChatGPT is definitely the one I'd recommend, the paid one.
Awesome. And then, you know, one more question for you today is like, if there's one thing that you would like marketers to take away, you know, or realize when, you know, when it comes to AI or when it comes to using AI, like what's the one big message that you would like, you know, marketers of today to kind of take away from what we're discussing?
I think it's that embrace AI. It's not here to take your job. It's here as a free assistant to do all the stuff you don't want to do. It's that. I mean, at this point in time, I don't know what the future holds, but at this point in time, I've got to always say that because it is moving so scarily quickly.
Right.
But yeah, it's a free assistant. Use it. You know, you can have multiple assistants. You can create these AI tools to be exactly all the bits you don't like about your job. AI can take care of it. And then you can be free to do the creative work and that thinking work that AI couldn't possibly do because it requires your experience and your expertise.
Awesome.
Yeah, Michael says here, getting ready is daunting if I don't know what I need to get ready. Which is like Michael, we all pretty much feel like that as well.
Right.
And Jessica wants the links and names of the AI leaders you mentioned. So we will get that for you, Jessica, as well. And if you follow Heather, I highly suggest you follow Heather and her AI for Non-Techies. Where can people find you, Heather?
I think LinkedIn is the main thing. We're yet to launch our membership site, which is coming in the next 2 weeks, non-techies.ai. But LinkedIn is the place to find me, absolutely, at the moment. I'm there all the time. You'll be bored of me by the time you've...
She had, like you said, she just posted the framework, which she went over there today. I've subscribed to her newsletter, which she has all kinds of great information to share. So if you feel like me and you're overwhelmed and don't know where to start, I highly suggest that you follow Heather and her Non-Techies. So thank you so much, Heather, for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Have a good one. Okay. That was awesome.
How great was that, huh?
Yes. So as we go along here, like we said, if you have any questions, comments, please feel free to drop them there in the chat. We asked earlier today, our question of the day was, share with us some of your best and worst use cases that you've seen of AI, because we'd love to share them. We're gonna talk a little bit more about it in a second. So we did something fun at Content Marketing World, right, JK, with our partners at Streamly?
We did. I can't wait. I can't wait to share this.
So our partners at Streamly, they decided to come up with a fun little challenge where they pitted some human marketers against a marketer using AI. So let's take a little look at this clip.
Welcome to the Streamly Studio and the Content Marketing Institute's Taskmaster Challenge.
What we are going to do
is try to create a content marketing pitch in just 45 minutes. This team has no machine. This team has a machine. So we're gonna see, can AI come up with an amazing content marketing pitch for a totally fictional product, a product called Arena Edge.
The AI will suggest really obvious functional benefits.
Hi, Kathy. I'm thrilled to be working with you today on this task. I'm confident that our combined efforts will produce something truly remarkable. Shall we get started?
We would have different executions that compare the real and the unreal, showing a boring classroom where kids are sitting at desks and listening to a teacher talk at the blackboard versus showing kids climbing the Eiffel Tower and going inside the pyramids.
From the video standpoint,
imagine a world where distance doesn't divide, but connects.
And then social, like TikTok clips of people in the VR game play moments, Instagram stories, Facebook and YouTube, pre-roll ads.
And we're gonna see who comes up with the best pitch.
So if you want to see the whole video, see who came out on top, the humans or the AI, you can head over to streamly.video. Our partners there have the whole challenge. So it's a fun one to watch.
It is. I love seeing, we see some familiar faces in there from the CMI, the content marketing world space. And, you know, after watching that video, it is such a blast for me because it's a mixture of both of my worlds, you know, like, because I'm still the guy that likes to lay out paper and draw boxes with stuff in it. But then, you know, as I'm starting to get acclimated to AI, you know, I could see where Kathy was going. I'm like, oh, I'm torn. I'm so torn, like with this video, but it's so fun to watch.
It was fun to just hear their process. Like when you watch it, they each kind of give their process of why they came up with it. So
I also love the fact that Kathy's assistant was named Claude. I don't know why, but that was so funny.
Jeff says, great content today. Thank you, Jeff. Thanks for all of you who are joining us. So yeah, as you go along, if you have questions, comments, I see some questions here that I didn't get to with Heather, but we will go back and get those as well. But speaking of fun videos, so I don't know if anyone else noticed this, but when I was watching the Super Bowl, if you saw the trailer to the Minions movie, at first it was kind of like hard to tell what the commercial was going to be about, but it was like end up being like the Minions creating all these like ridiculous, because I was watching it, I was like, that's a funny AI videos, like someone was doing yoga with 3 legs or something. So we'll drop that in the comments for you to check it out. But we've all seen like great cases of AI, and we've all seen not so great cases of AI being used. Right. So early in the show, we were asking about some of the bad and good. And someone here said something about fingers. Anything that Jessica says, anything that requires detailing images hands is a bad idea. We'll talk about that in a second, but I've seen so many extra fingers on hands. I think that's sort of like the one that everybody sort of uses, as they all see that. But JK, you also have an example that kind of got the creative community a little upset recently.
It did. And interestingly enough, it was brought to me by my daughter, Jane, who's an illustrator. She came up to me, we were sitting down with coffee, and she said, Dad, have you heard what's going on with Wacom? And for those who don't know, Wacom is a digital drawing pad and pen set for traditional illustrators that want to draw directly onto a screen instead of pad paper. So what they did was released a promotion for their Chinese Year of the Dragon, promoting their product. And Amanda, if you want to pull up the image so we can talk about it a little bit, they used this lovely image of a dragon. Well, after the illustrator community, you know, kind of got this ad in their feeds and they looked real close, they noticed that dragon's tail isn't connected to the dragon's body. So as you know, being the fact that you have illustrators that are already threatened or feel threatened by the use of AI, they kind of went nuts online and read the riot act to Wacom. So Wacom came back out with this kind of contrite statement saying, hey, we're sorry. We used a third-party stock imagery company. And as we all know, any creative that uses any kind of stock imagery now, AI images are starting to be introduced into stock libraries. So obviously somebody from either an agency or the marketing side pulled this image, thought they were coming up with this really kind of cute promo, but then what it did is it started a kind of a fire amongst the creative community. And what's really upsetting, they're working their way back and they're trying to, after their statement, and they're trying to understand the concerns of the illustrators, but they're the company that have the most to lose when it comes to people worried about, especially creatives worried about losing their jobs due to AI, people that illustrate for a living. So they're using AI images to promote to these people. So I think they have a lot of damage control to go through, because easily they could have went to their community and said, hey, we want to do a cool Year of the Dragon. Use your Wacom tablet
or something.
We'll give you a free pen. We'll give you a tablet upgrade. But no, they decided to go the easier route, and now they are where they are. So that is my worst case, use of AI. I'm just still
like a second set of eyes. Like that always gets me. Like, is someone not looking at that before they posted it?
Right.
I'm like, okay, wait a minute, something doesn't look right. Like I just don't get it.
It's so funny because my daughter is like, she is still hot about this one, and there's still like fires to be put out. So, Wacom, I'm sure you can pull through, but add some editors next time.
Yeah, right, exactly, and creatives, yeah. But there are some really, good uses. Like, creatives are using AI tools and using them well. Recently, so we discovered this group on LinkedIn called Artificial Inspiration, which it's run by a company called Seedly, and they train people how to use Midjourney. But they started this page. This is one of JK's favorites, as a way to share what the community of creative directors are creating on Midjourney, which is like, I am just like, if you go and follow them, like the stuff that they post and the stuff that they come, like this is like crazy. Like I just think it's so cool, the stuff that and the detail and stuff is so amazing. And so we decided to chat with the guy with Seedly, right, JK?
We did. And like the images are so impressive, and we were so, Amanda, thank you for making me aware of them, because once I got in there and started poking around, it's just fantastic. And we had the opportunity last week to speak with Chris Branch, who's the co-founder of Seedly, about the community that they created and what Seedly does. So if we want to take a look at the video, Amanda, this would be great.
It's really fun. Like, you will be super shocked at how fun it is, the process. Like, I call it the Renaissance with the capital AI for your workflow, because it is so much more ideation than execution. Like, the typical meme is, when you've got that really long client brief and you're in Photoshop and you spent 10 hours editing this thing, and then it crashes on you and you just want to rip your hair out and jump out the window. Well, essentially all of that's gone, because you type a few words and then seconds later an image appears. And if you don't like it, you type a few more words and another image appears. Like, it's a totally different workflow. Where AI doesn't make sense is where you are faster or more efficient or more proficient or any of the other adjectives you want to apply to it. AI really makes sense in the creative workflow where it's giving you something extra for the same amount of time and effort. There's sort of 4 ways to think about AI. There is the hand it over autonomously to the AI entirely, i.e. you're designating a job that you really don't like in your process. And then there's other parts where I'm like, you're working in tandem with the AI and it needs to be at your same creative level. So if you're an incredibly good filmmaker and you're just, incredibly good at Adobe Premiere or something like this, it's really silly for you to start using AI video tech, because it's just not at the standard you're going to require yet. But something like Midjourney that's cracked the level of photorealism to give you keyframe images might help your mood board become much quicker. So it really depends on, a case-by-case basis. It's a bit almost cheesy to say this, but you have to be like a doctor and treat everyone like your patient. You can't start giving broad advice to anyone like that. You need to really, take their temperature, take their blood samples, take their genetics, and then give them a concoction of AI. It really is on a one-by-one basis. It's a mixed bag. So I actually find that because this is their first time that they've ever had the ability to create art at this level, it has somewhat decentralized that whole process for them. So they're either somewhat incredibly excited and don't know really where to start, their mind's just all over the place with 1,000 ideas, or they're the opposite, they don't know the first keyword in order to type in. And depending on which side of that coin they fall on, I have ideas for them. If they're scattergun approach, and they're just super excited that they've never been able to do this and they all of a sudden want to do it, then I tell them to test scientifically and methodically, slow down the process, and I call it the pyramid building way. So you want to start with a base layer and keep building until you get to that top brick, which is your refined prompt. If they're the other way, where they just don't know where to type or where to start or have any creative background in order to know terminology like photography keywords or graphic design keywords or anything like this, then I'll tell them to start with something like ChatGPT to help with their ideation. The way that Midjourney currently works, although they are moving away from this into a web version very soon, I hear, is they work through a platform called Discord. And if you're untechy and unfamiliar with this, don't worry, it's literally like MSN or AOL back in the day. It really is just like one of these new platforms that you can interact en masse. But the side effect of this is because it's a server platform, that's what Discord is. It's kind of like a social media meets a server. Then there's tens of thousands of other people like you that are newbies too, and you start off in Midjourney newbie rooms and you start to see what everyone else around you is generating. So that's a really good way to get introduced to a platform, is essentially seeing everybody else's workings. But if you really just want to just get some inspiration to start with, midjourney.com, which acts totally separately to Midjourney access through Discord, actually using it, is just a website which has on it an explore tab. And this is essentially everybody's live workings around the web. So you can go and see hundreds of thousands of different images that are being made live right now, and then see the words that they actually typed in order to get the results that they got. So it's kind of like going to Pinterest or Behance and then seeing everybody's workings out behind the thing that they posted, not just the thing that they posted. One of the big issues with AI right now, which is continuity. Lots of people that I've been training have been asking me about this process of, well, I love that picture, but I just want one less finger or one less eye or something less weird like that. Except unfortunately, AI is not very good at that process right now, making the whole picture again and just slightly changing one aspect of it. They are building in new tools and features, however. One is inside Photoshop. And they call it Firefly. That's their own separate AI, but they've built it into Photoshop in order to give you something called generative fill. So same thing applies, as you can just basically put any image in there, highlight around the thing that you don't want, type a sentence as to what you do want, and it magically appears. Midjourney version 6 really, I find it very rare that I get this extra fingers and things. But what's really funny is that it's exactly the same thing that real artists struggle with. Like human artists, the AI still has the same issues of faces and hands and eyes, and these are the most difficult things for real artists too. So it really is like a reflection of our own process. It's crazy.
Yeah, Chris was really great. We have so much more for him that we couldn't even share because of time. So we'll drop the link in here for an extended interview over on YouTube. And if you haven't been to our CMI YouTube page, just search up Content Marketing Institute, because we are always releasing new videos on there. So feel free to subscribe. But I want to go back to JK, because we didn't touch on this when we were talking about Wacom. But like you as a creative, how you are using AI tools in your workflow. We were talking about that earlier, and I think that's an interesting point.
Yeah, well, Heather and Chris did bring something up that I agree with 100%. Like 2 years ago, when it really started getting its wheels under them, to let us average users, not like high-end engineers use it. There was all this fear of creatives losing their jobs. And I was one of them. I heartedly admit I was very afraid that, oh my God, this is the end of my career. And my daughter's, as I said, she's an illustrator and she's a creative. But the more I start using it and the way I use it, I realize as so many of my other creatives and other people that I talk to, it's a tool. It is definitely a tool. And that's what Chris and Heather are expanded upon. Like for me, I know it saves me a lot of time when I talk to my team and we want to come up with something that's like, I know, like an image or something, an idea that's really going to take some time out of my day to create. I use AI specifically like Runway or Midjourney to comp up images to give me, like I type out my prompts of like what I want to see if it is going to look okay. And then if it's going to look okay or kind of like, it gets my goals that I need, then I'll expand upon that. But I use it, even Amanda, you and I were talking earlier. I taught my wife and I were trying to write a letter using ChatGPT, or, we use ChatGPT for our grammar. You know what I mean? It's just, it does. If you use it as a tool and look at it as such, you will become more and more comfortable with it. And don't look at it as an enemy. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And I did love what Yolanda here said.
Yeah, going back when we were talking about the Wacom thing, she says, as an artist, art educator, and content writer, I find there are rarely content experts vetting images and content that is widely shared and published, which is very scary. All right, here. If this was not enough AI for you, we have even more for you. Next week, we have a free virtual AI masterclass, February 28th and 29th, where we'll go beyond ChatGPT, discover AI's untapped marketing potential. We have sessions such as secrets to creating an AI-powered content strategy. The amazing Scott Brinker is going to lead a discussion about what's ahead for AI tools and tech. So you can sign up there, cmi.media/AI-masterclass. We'll put that in the chat as well. And we also have, imagine that, JK, non-AI stuff happening over here at CMI, I promise. So most importantly, Content Marketing World 2024. If you haven't heard, it will be in San Diego this year. Registration now open. This is the time to get the best prices for the conference, so you can head over to contentmarketingworld.com. Speaking of CM World, we're also looking for speakers to take the stage, and we're always looking for new, fresh faces. So if you have some great experience, case studies you'd like to share, you can head over to the link there to see what you need to submit your speaking proposal. And finally, our CMI mentorship program is open, and we're seeking mentees. So if you are looking for some career advice from one of the awesome marketing leaders in our CMI community, then you may want to apply. It's a really, really great program. So if that interests you, head over there. So thank you all so much for joining us today. What do you think, JK? Should we do it again?
I think we should. I had a lot of fun. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I hope I didn't ramble too much, but I think we had some wonderful guests. And Amanda, thank you for spearheading this project. I think this is so much fun.
And I think it was a little, we were a little British heavy today, but
British invasion.
We love our British folks and friends across the pond. So we will be back next month chatting about an all new topic, SEO and search. So if there's something specifically you want to know about, you have questions, let us know, drop it in the comments, or, message me your thoughts, and we will try to cover them on the next show. It'll probably be around the third week in March. So look for that. Look for the post. So until next time, we thank everyone for joining us, for the comments, for the questions. If we didn't get to them, we will try to jump back in there. Gene, thank you. He said, great presentation. We appreciate you joining us. You too, Emmy from Belgium. We appreciate everyone joining us. So until next time, I'll see you, JK. Everyone have a great day. See ya.
Take care, everyone.